I'm ready. Okay, my name is Andrew Lowe. That's my real name. And my nickname is Raymond. Everybody knows me by Raymond. And I was born and raised in New York. And I have 12 brothers and sisters. And I've lost a few of them, but and this COVID has really affected everything that I knew back in the day and stuff, you know, and I'm pretty sure it affected everybody else. As far as the speakers go, I don't know about that, how it had affected them, because I didn't know that many anyway that still spoke. And Mvskoke was my main language when I was growing up. That's all we spoke. And the Mvskoke language was my first language. And learning English was kind of difficult for me when I first went to school. And I had a hard time learning how to speak English. I got in a lot of trouble for saying words that I shouldn't have been saying. But I just mocking what I hear from somebody else. And I used to go to New York church. In my ceremonial grounds, I used to go to New York, but then we switched over to Arbika. And I had quite a few role models, and I guess they lived the best way they knew how. And my grandfather, he was a baseball player. He was pretty well known. And he even told me that he caught for Dizzy Dean. And he had a broken finger that he said he was catching Dizzy Dean, and that's how he broke his finger. And I had an uncle that played for St. Louis Cardinals. And his kids, my uncle's kids, were good ball players too. They got that from their grandpa and uncles, or dad. I think as far as learning the Creek language for kids, it's fine, you know, but you're not gonna see that everywhere you go, you know. You just, if you're within a community where they speak it, it's fine, you know. But nowadays, you're not gonna hear it just wherever you go. You're just gonna run into certain people that you know that speak it. It'd be fine with me if I knew a lot of people could talk it. I mean, I'd be happy. But the way things are now, I don't think that's going to happen. But I mean, it's still good to try to keep our language alive and try to pass it down, like, you know, for years to come, and hope that your grandkids and their grandkids will kind of pick it up a little bit. And that's about all I have to say for as far as language. Okay, I have a story here I'm going to try to tell in Creek language. And I don't speak too much, but what I still remember, I'll try to tell you, but I might have a little trouble telling you, but I'll get it across to you. New York wat ze wat legge domas. Ali Oosten, hoe jij niet legge domas. Maar in tausen toch al legge domas, adot keren. Hangen net daar zo in adot keren. Salah Armin Uzerum Hillik uudumut. Liitkidun nuesin. Hari hagen, har hetken tala värdet. Nu jakku vatsena ajade. Unaud. Nini timbinu kulimas. Ingin ate hizare. Haram hizayata tizare dumas. Perpega ata sapsagin achidumas. Je boven ze is kamo. Je begen. Karbo ataremun kokleti dumas. Hele hizabraden. Maar in fikunen. Daarna is ga ik zeggen. Nog magisch gaan. Ook in mijn wat in huis heb. In boeren. Nog magisch gaan. Dus maar. Maar na cengas ketsen. Allemaal te mengen. Ahoy iemand. Ahoy ja daar niet. Boneren kunnen wezen. En bonai gedaan hier wat ze mij naar hiti doen was. Te lopen moet in hita worden. Je moest gaan naar mij. Moesten. Nee dat oosten bahusen. Ayahan wegen. Moeden. Lugur watsen. Aye behanen. Sketen. Inga moeden. Zo de het man. Hadden mij die dokjes het voor je munayaden. Aha morgen. Aharab kemas. Aharaben. Zo kon je wogen. Hadden bat. Nita palen mahen. Taluven aarden. Tanahangen hizagen. Mogen punayaden. Na morgen. Aboneza aarden. Zinda nagda. Timori die amara in moen meestina had ze megen saai skest werd tana hangi do wat man har pay saben patsi do must I hegezen karbugu atiri maskes en dan am temega hoe mit van bedoelmats man haram moeder mas sagai dachten nehem stigesen meester dat abonneert dat Arme azahaid ilizitu masukun ngima. Sibingali ho yondozen intimunado isere. Ina zibile doctor skuagan muazen. Aibe mats. Ada me George chanahangin hiziatmo imbuwe mas. Muun munaya after. Ihe taano kaki meesti dat arminna wegen ilizitu masukun. Hujef kana makto erezen sahurito di. Muaren. Arut kiraya haram talagayat paf nihayan hura nediumas man arakir haridi. Mar armira hiligun erezen wo hoid much. Mar tanal dezi gurumas. Mugari dat chahuri budi mar hanyo stores ada gishe adam hangit punagodi dat amha hui de dat amna hui ji fire ge hokul bulagi mus ubein bulagar fire bulagen na gere hizage gudan bulagi mus Nittara pogi bahan doaren pura ilavagi gulagin Mvskoke tunga hanya tada. Hanya weki boxing haram faya lais kesi. Mar hangira anda chalo itu kesi nak hobe kesi. Mon tot kan ha hitchen. Figa pit haram hoye kai boxing. Mozen nak hobe de chas nak chindu bisketsen. Hangira ahin hui kazogen. Hier Tjustagi hozen an hit kilos kesen. Man hitse no kesen hang arin. Tesi daga Tjustagi ulata guzur. Don't kabozen. Messi do hangi do chitto Mara home pictures, my pictures, to go to the rooms, Tjustagi, Mort Mahangi, what that Tungal, and that home behind the Hangi Morgan, Mon, Zindui biscuits, home baby much, home maybe, Wahogi much, Wahogin, Nazagin, Wahogin. Tini kid halam oke hati oden buhat hangir alakin alai gata hangir nak magadugin sa hijata anje walker himbuna it's a not it adjust to go adjust to the customer aniro hijata chitto hagi bimuts igarogursin ishtirumos Empuna yaden. Hanyu tahagit man munno tiges tokke humbitsigur an umhatsigur astige utumus. Man tinekit oge hatina chana hanga chahidi yazagna yan yezagna chahizagahesh. Empuna yadis morogus uyad.
Translated into English.
Oh, yeah. Okay, I forgot about that. Okay, I lived in New York about 40 years ago or more. I worked in Tulsa. And I used to work a lot of hours. I had an old car. The lights weren't that good, but I was working a lot of hours. I worked up until about 1 o'clock, 1 or 2 o'clock in the morning, and I was coming back around New York. And I seen a man standing out there, but he was facing the other way, and he had his hand up, and he was hitchhiking. And when I put my lights on him, he had some striped coveralls on, he had a handkerchief hanging out the back, and he had a red ball cap on. I saw that, and I pulled up and I stopped. I asked him if he needed a ride, and he just said, mm-hmm. And so I told him, get in. So he got in. I tried talking to him, but he wouldn't say anything. I said, are you going to Okima? And he just said, mm-hmm. And so I tried to see his face, but he kept looking the other way. And I said, well, I'm only going like 4 or 5 miles down the road. I said, but I got to turn and go south. And I said, if I wasn't tired, I said, I'd give you a ride to Okima. But I said, I got to go to work in early in the morning. But he still didn't say anything. So when I got to where I was going to turn off, I said, well, I said, as far as I'm going. I said, you'll probably catch a ride with somebody else, but there's not very many cars on that road, Okima. And anyway, I let him off, and I went home. And about 10 days later or so, I was in town, and I ran into some of my cousins and stuff, and we were sitting there talking, and they were telling me stuff that happened to them. And I was sitting there listening to them. Then they asked me, did anything ever happen to you? And I said, no. I said, not really. I said, anything? And I said, no. And then I just thought about that guy that I picked up. And I was telling him about that, and I was sitting there telling him. And I wasn't even done, and my cousin, she said, did he have striped coveralls on? And a handkerchief? And a red ball cap? And said he smelled like alcohol? I said, how do you know that? I said, I didn't even tell you that. He said, well, that man you're talking about got killed on that highway right there, right by that New York turnoff. Said he got killed right there. The car hit him. And, I thought they was just trying to scare me and stuff, and I didn't think nothing about it. But later on, about a couple of days later, I seen her brother. And I asked him, and she told me to ask anybody that probably knew about it. So I asked him. He said, yeah, that man got hit right there on that curve. So he got killed. They told me his name, but I don't remember his name. Boy, after that, when I'd come back from work, man, I'd either go around the other road or else when I come by there, I'd drive that car by there as fast as I could go. And that wasn't very fast, but but anyway, I'd go home. But I never did think any more about it because I used to go out in New York and camp out by myself, sometimes. And I always thought about that. But, nothing ever scared me anymore after that, So. And this other story that I had was, they used to tell us a bunch of stories, but I forgot most of them. But anyway, there was these two hunters. They were out hunting, and they was quite a ways from home. And they didn't find nothing all day. Well, and they was getting tired and hungry, and so when it was getting close to dark, so the other one said, why don't we just build a fire and rest here? And he said, we'll go early, again in the morning. And they was by a lake, so he said, okay. But that other one said, well, I'm hungry. He said, I got to find something. He said, well, go ahead and look. He said, I don't think you'll find anything. He said, he got up. Pretty soon, he said, that other guy hollered at him and told him, come here. He said, I found something. And he went over there and he found a little nest and it had some eggs in there. And they were blue. He told him, he said, those are snake eggs. He said, you're not supposed to eat those. Our elders told us not to eat those things like that. But that guy said, I'm going to eat anyway. He said, I'm hungry. And that guy said, well, go ahead. So that guy, I don't know how he cooked them or what, but he ate them. And so later on that night, they was both sleeping by the fire. First thing it started lightning and thundering. And woke that other guy up, and he got up. And he looked over at that other guy, and he heard some kind of noise over there. That guy saying something, help or something. And so he went over there. When he got over there, that guy his whole body had turned into a snake, but he still had a human head. But he was turning, and he told him, he said, what's wrong with me? And he said, I told you. He said, they told us not to be eating stuff like that. He said, that's what's happening to you. So you're turning into a snake. And he said, well, can you help me? He said, I can't help you. He said, you did it. And anyway, he turned to a snake. Well, before that, he told that guy, he said, if my family and stuff wants to come and see me, he said, when that lightning and thunders, tell them to come here and they'll be able to see me. And when he told him that, said he turned to a snake all the way, and then he crawled off in the water. That was it. There's a lot of more stories. I can't remember them, I tried to, but that's what you get for not listening. But one time my grandma told me that they were at a stomp ground, and said they were in a wagon or something, but she had one of those forks that you turn meat over with or something. But there was a dog was acting wild and everything, come up to her like that, and she come up to her and she thought she was going to bite him. She took that fork like that and stuck him right in the neck. She killed that dog, But that dog took off running. And she said, next day or so, they said that Indian guy died. They was wondering how he died, and they said that he had 2 punctures in his neck. So back in them days, they used to say that, you know, Tijadis used to turn themselves into whatever they wanted to, you know. So, but, you know, I used to kind of laugh about stuff like that. But not after I picked that guy up after that, you know, it kind of made me believe a little bit. So that's about all I have now. So.
That last story, can you translate that in Creek?
Huh?
That last story, can you translate that in Creek?
In Creek?
Mm-hmm.
Oh, that. Which one was that?
The one you just got through telling.
Huh?
The one you just got through telling?
About when Grandma was stuck in?
Uh-huh.
Yeah. I got särken full laget. Se bursidan. Wagon water, or like it a month. Or like it water. Even half a hog or all the Mvto. Other task can school. Monak Tafunu water. Movers. No mine in the Sige much. Sige here. With the late kiwi much. Late got it. Karabezi go. Nita Hokula mine. Tijaret. Unawar. Sungitos Maho. Turi labor got Maho. No go Hizagata. In Sige ho ye den. One Sungitos.
Okay.